what you want, when you want it, where you want it. This is The Mesh.
Foot Candle Films. Film news and reviews from two guys who really like movies.
This episode is brought to you by the Foot Candle Film Society. For a schedule of upcoming screenings and membership information, visit the Society's website at www.footcandle.org.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Foot Candle Films here on the Mesh.tv podcast network. My name is Alan Jackson. With me, Chris Fry, with the Foot Candle Film Society and the annual Foot Candle Film Festival. Chris, how are you today?
I'm doing well. Been watching a lot of movies. End of the year's coming.
What?
So, yeah,
That's
true.
Crazy talk.
I know. Even more than usual.
That.
Watching more than usual, just to try to fit everything in before the end of the year. So,
Right.
But good times. Thanksgiving's coming up, so looking forward to getting together with family for that, and maybe going to a side room and watching a couple of movies in between everything else going on.
It just keeps
we'll
coming,
see.
doesn't it? The movies
Yes.
just keep piling on. So,
Yes.
yeah, we've been trying to, it is that time of year where we're trying to cram in all the film screenings we can to start to work on our best of the year list and our nomination forums and all that good stuff. So it's a big hullabaloo. What is that word?
Hullabaloo.
Of a time for movie watching for us. But hey, what better way? What kind of better pastime to have than to spend time watching a lot of movies? So, Chris, on Foot Candle Films, this show that you are on, in case people are joining us and don't know what we do here, we review films, new films that come out. Today we have a review of the new film Wicked: For Good. Once again, the colon has entered the title of this film. I think that's several weeks in a row we have had a film we've reviewed with a colon in it, I think.
Yeah, that might be the case.
Yeah. So Wicked: For Good will be the film we review here in a moment. That's, of course, the part 2 or a sequel to Wicked from just a year ago that we will be discussing. Then we normally do some movie news, but today we're just going to do all trailers all the time. We've got some trailers to watch of new films coming out. Chris and I will watch the trailer and then discuss and give our assessment of what we think is in store for that particular film. And then, Chris, do you have a recommendation for us today?
I do.
Okay. Chris Fry has a recommendation that he will grace us with at the end of this episode, a film that he is going to suggest for us that we may want to check out if we're in the mood to add yet another film to our watch list for the holiday season. Okay, Chris, so we've got a lot, as always, to get into. Are you ready to get started?
Let's do it.
All right, here's our review of Wicked: For Good.
Couldn't be happier.
It's more important than ever that you lift everyone's spirits. As only you can.
Does that do what I think it does? No. No way. I'm obsessulated.
The wand really sells it.
Because happy is what happens.
Linda, the girl.
When all your dreams come true.
It's the Wicked Witch.
Wicked: For Good picks up pretty much after the events of the first Wicked, returning our Elphaba, who's now been demonized and is now the Wicked Witch of the West. We have played by Cynthia Erivo. We have Ariana Grande returning as Glinda, not Galinda, but Glinda, and she is now going to be deemed the Good Witch by the wizard. Jeff Goldblum plays said wizard. All the other people that were in the first film, they've returned for this second installment. Wicked: For Good Part 2 had a huge opening weekend, earning an estimated $150 million in North America and $226 million globally. This performance broke the record for a Broadway adaptation's opening weekend, previously held by the first Wicked film, and was the second highest grossing film opening of 2025, behind what, Alan? What's been the other big movie opening of I didn't know until I researched it to write this.
Is it Minecraft?
It was very good. So a Minecraft movie. So now that the opening weekend's come and gone, Alan, what was your take on this follow-up? Would you be interested in seeing a third film on this material, or do you prefer for Wicked to be done for
Wicked
good?
for best?
Sure.
I don't know what the sequel would be. No, I don't think we need a sequel. I think we're done. I think we're good.
Okay.
I did not enjoy this movie as much as I did the first one.
And you rated, now,
first one was-
Letterboxd ratings are kind of, you gave it a 3.
Yeah, which I thought the first one was fine. I did not love it. I thought it had a lot of issues. I think my commentary at that point was it maybe relied a little bit on its Broadway backstory for people familiar with it, where if you weren't familiar with the stage play and you're kind of coming into this with fresh eyes like I did a year ago, that I found it to be a little distant, a little colder than I would have expected it to be. I think it kind of played on a lot of people's preconceived notions of the story coming into it. Anyway, I thought it was fine last year, but I didn't love it. I just thought it was a good passable time. This one, I do feel like falls short of that as well, too. Mainly because I think it's just got some real... It exemplifies, Chris, for me, the problem with splitting a story like this into 2 movies, separated by a year, in that a lot of time has passed even in a year for me, okay? So I come into this movie, and it is I feel like it's a little at a distance and a little inaccessible unless you remember every detail and every plot machination from the first movie. I found this to be all right, we're just going to drop you in, and there's a lot of rationale for why people are doing the things they're doing, but we explained that in the first movie, so we don't need to mention or remind anybody why anybody's doing anything. And it drops any pretense of having any kind of character development in the second half, because again, it's already said, well, we've already done the development of the characters first half. This second half, all we're going to do is just let the plot beats hit and just get to a finish that everybody's expecting. And I just found it not as enjoyable. I found it, the music to me is not as good as it was in the first half, but that may be more of a feature of the show. And I get that. I mean, if you're translating the show to a movie, if the songs are a little more, less spectacular in the second half of the show, I don't expect as a movie maker for you to figure out artificially how to make those better for the movie. No, you work with what you've got. But just overall, it was just a much more dour experience and a much more inaccessible experience to me as a moviegoer. So anyway, I've got more details to share. But Chris, I'd love to hear your thoughts on Wicked for Good and what you thought about it.
So I have the benefit, I have not read the book. If you listen to our previous episode where we discussed Wicked a year ago, haven't read the book, but I do have the advantage of I've seen the musical. So going into this film, I knew kind of like, they basically split the film just like they did the play. Mm-hmm. Act 1 is last year's movie. Act 2 is this year's movie. Going in, I knew that the 2 biggest hits, it's a musical. Mm-hmm. So what's most important in a musical? The music. Mm-hmm. The 2 biggest songs from the musical Wicked are Defying Gravity and Popular. Mm-hmm. Both of those were in Act 1.
Yep.
Act 2 doesn't have any like major things that people... So I wasn't expecting to come away like, oh, that musical number was really great, just because based on what I know of the musical. I really like the story. I've never read the book. I want to read the book now that it can't be spoiled for me because I've seen this movie. Mm-hmm. But I really like the ideas behind the book and behind the musical, because it's kind of like what they did do with Maleficent, what they did do with Cruella, Disney did with those franchises where they came back in and kind of told an alternate view of things.
A little bit of a deconstruction of, yes.
Mm-hmm. I really like that idea.
I agree.
And I really like that in the play. And I knew, when I saw the play, I knew nothing about it.
Okay.
And then coming away, especially the ending, what's revealed on how things kind of all come together, I was like, wow, that was really cool. As you may recall again from listening to our episode last year about Wicked, what I liked was I thought I was going to be bored because I thought I already knew everything that was going to happen. But what they ended up doing is taking things from the book and kind of beefing up Act One. And I was like, oh, cool. I like going to movies and being surprised about things. So I really like that about the first Wicked. Second part, they continued to do that. They still pulled in some elements from the book that were not in the musical. So I found those added things interesting, and I like that. Now, overall, though, how does it fare? There again, if we're going to dumb it down and use like letterbox ratings just to kind of generalize things, I gave the first one 4 stars. I'm not sure where I land on this one, but I do feel like it is lower. And the reasoning comes by that I felt like, in kind of the opposite of what you said, if anything deserved 2 movies, I know it was only 1 play, but because they added in elements, and I like that, I felt like this did deserve 2 films. I definitely think it should have been split up. I think that was a good choice. My disappointment is that in the first film, I felt like they handled it really well. Nothing was really rushed. They kind of did stuff, and it worked. With the second film, it seemed like it got a little muddy. Things were kind of skipped over. Not necessarily skipped over, but they were very abbreviated to the point where if you're really invested in it, like I was, and there again, for people who haven't seen the film yet, or, I will avoid spoilers, but the arc of, I'll say, the Scarecrow, it was interesting because they do include the Scarecrow in this, from the Wizard of Oz. He's in this Wicked for Good. But he appears and then kind of disappears and then is in some scenes, but they don't focus on him. And it was like, wait, I don't get that, because he should be, if you're basing what you know off the Wizard of Oz, he should be just as vocal as the Lion and the Tin Man, yet he's there, but then he's not there.
Right.
And that really, really bothered me. Now,
they were trying to play up for a particular scene at the end by not.
But to me, that's just like sloppy writing.
I agree.
Because it's just like, I'm sure in the book it makes more sense and it's not done in the musical. But if you're going to bring it in, it's like you have to somehow find how to walk that tightrope of making it work. They did. I feel like they did that in the first installment of the movie. This one, I feel like they fell short. Now, I'll say a addition to this instance that wasn't the musical was Tin Man arc. I thought that was done really well. And so I think that kind of set my expectation of, Scarecrow is going to have this same amount of screen time and make sense and not confuse me. And that was not the case. So that just really kind of took me back. So that's kind of, if I was to say I didn't have a bad time with I didn't find it dour or any of that. Now I will say, same kind of reflecting on Act 1, Act 2, or Part 1, Part 2. Part 1 is a lot more lighthearted. The music is more lighthearted. It has more jokes, whereas this gets serious. I mean, it gets serious at the end of the first part.
This is
so this whole film
it's the Empire Strikes Back side of the Star Wars movie.
So this is a whole. It's intentionally kind of a downer for the second thing, which is also kind of hard because you want audiences to have a good time, but then the stuff going on is not happy, and the music is not happy, and it's all a slower pace. It's not as exciting, so it's hard to do that. But I feel like they did a good enough job. But the handling of some of the threads I felt like was disingenuous.
Well, yeah, and again, I'll just go back to this idea that, again, I know for a movie that took a stage play. My understanding, the stage play is about 150 minutes. Okay.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I've seen it, but I don't know. Yeah.
Not counting intermission, I think it's 150 minutes of stage time. So here we have a 4.5 hours of movies. Which again, I agree with you that this is a world where you can explore, and I think giving it the extra time works. The splitting into 2 movies, I think there's enough content here. There's enough story to do that, and I agree with that. But I think the problem with this film in particular versus the first film is that It was like the first film was all let's world build, let's create this world, let's create these characters, let's give some development to these characters. And then it's just, okay, now let's move to the second movie. Time has flown by. We're at the second part of the story, and it's just, okay, there's no, I mean, and I'm saying this as a movie viewer. I see a average amount of movies in a year, Chris. Nowhere near as many as you do, but I do see it, I think, above average maybe for moviegoers. You know, when I'm presented with this film, and it's like, okay, so Elphaba is now being labeled as a villain, and the Wicked Witch, and all right, so there's the wizard, there's the is it Miss Marble? Madam Marble? What is her name?
Her name is constantly confusing. It's not horrible, but it's Marble.
Marble. Okay.
Which, yeah.
So
Madam
we have these
Marble.
characters, and it's all brought up as, okay, we know Elphaba is like branded as a witch now, the evil witch, and we know that she's got some beef with the wizard, and we know that Marble is somehow involved. But for me, going into this movie again, it was like, okay, but I don't understand any of the motivations anybody has anymore.
If you had
You
not
know?
rewatched, which there again, audiences shouldn't be expecting, they watch the first film. If you're coming to see the second, they assume you are genuinely interested, but you're just a
and
critic
that's the
going to see
problem,
it.
I think, is that I the whole time I'm like, okay, please somebody tell me what was the beef again between Elphaba and the wizard. And they finally allude to it. It's dealing with animals. It's the whole animal situation, which even then I had to remember, okay, well, remind me again, what was the deal with the animals? It's like, if you want me to have
applaud
some,
this film for not dumbing it down for people. It's like, if you don't want to catch up,
Chris,
if you
it's
don't
not
want to
dumbing
remember,
down.
if you don't want to remember, that's not our problem. We're going to go ahead and do it. We're not going to do a recap. It's like, if you this movie and you want to remember stuff, go back and watch the first movie.
I think it's a flaw of the film. I don't think it needs dumbing down,
enough.
Chris, but I mean, a line of dialogue anywhere could easily like help bridge gaps. It could like really set the stage on things.
Had this film occurred maybe 5 years later instead of a year after the first movie, and it's widely available, I would agree with you. But there again, I don't think, they're making this film for fans of the first film. And it's like, if you didn't like the first film, you're not going to like the second film. So don't go see it.
Well, I gave the first film a 3-star. I mean, I'm a decent fan. I was okay on it. It's like, I thought it was a good film, but yet it wasn't serviceable to me to throw me into the second one and just assume that everything's understood. No touchback on, I mean, again, the problem is there's no development of characters in the second half of the movie. It's like, it basically is everybody's exactly the way they are until the last 30 minutes. And then it's like, now let's put all the plot pieces into place and let's throw it together. I mean, like you said, it felt rushed. And again, part of the reason of feeling rushed is, well, we just have to move people into places and get them in and do these things quickly. And there's no time to appreciate what is happening and what's going on. So we have so much screen time together of Arevio and Glenda. Sorry.
Grande and
Ariana Grande. In the first
Elphaba
half,
and Glenda.
we developed this wonderful friendship and relationship between the two of them that develops over the first film. It's like they hate each other and then they become friends, and it's good because it's a really good relationship. I think I even commented in that first review, I really liked this relationship and them playing off each other. It's a nature of the story that they have very little time together in the second one. Okay. There's like a scene at the end, or there's two scenes in particular where they have extended amount of time together. The rest of it, they are, by the effort of the story, they're separated for reasons that the story has.
Right.
And so you as the viewer, when you're asked to have an emotional reaction to their time together, it is difficult because I do not feel like the second film allows you to see these characters continue developing at all. It is truly nope, this person has to be here, this person has to be here, and then we're going to have them meet here, and they have to say these lines, and then we're done. And it's like, that's the way I felt like this second film was all about. And I just don't feel like what elements I did enjoy in the first one, I felt like got completely discarded in the second one.
Interesting.
This became a plot-driven film as opposed to a character-driven film, which is what I think worked better in the first one. So, anyway.
Interesting.
I do feel like a film has a right to keep its audiences at least engaged in the story, and I feel like this one was not interested in doing that. It was no, you already know the deal, so let's just hit the plot beats and let's just make sure everybody gets what they're wanting out of this film. And I think there's a reason why a lot of people are down more on this film than they were the first one. And I think that's part of it, Chris. I mean, I think it is just they took a lot for granted. I came out of a theater last night and I had people asking the same questions as we're walking down the stairs. I was like, so what was the deal again with this? And I don't understand this. It's like, yes, exactly. That was my point, is we are an audience that sees a lot of content throughout the year. You can't expect us to have an emotional reaction to a second part of a story if there's not any recollection, or honestly, the plot I think is just a little overly complicated to begin with anyway. I think in terms of that.
I won't claim that it's not.
Yeah.
I appreciate films.
So if you've got an overly complicated plot in the first film that you're leading into a second film, and then you're just kind of like throwing people to the wolves and saying, here, just figure it out, and we're just going to hit the points. I think that's unfair, and I think that's a disappointing way to make a film. So
I would say it's definitely a gamble. Does it work for many people? It didn't work for you. No. Works for me, but I don't mind. I guess I didn't find the overcomplication disappointing or complicated. I was a little let down, like I mentioned, about some of the character arcs, but I would rather it be, I don't know, I would rather it stray more that way than to keep things. And if it hadn't had a lot of complicated stuff that I maybe walked out of the theater not understanding, I would have thought it didn't justify a second film. The fact that there was so much, I felt like helped to justify a second film. But I get it. I get it. People don't like it as much as the first one. Yeah. And I feel a little bit like it's a little bit of a bandwagon too. The first one did well. People want to like jump on and, and I get it. You don't like the film, but doing things like just giving it a half star, just like, really just coming down on it. I feel like that's a little film. I feel like that's a little crazy.
I am one never to jump on bandwagons with anything, Chris. So it's no, this film it's a lesser film than the first one because of the promise that I think it tried to set up with the first one. It had a lot of heavy lifting to do in the first film with all the world building, all the character development, and it did it sufficiently well, I thought, in the first one. This is very, very much guided on, we've got plot points and plot beats to hit, let's hit them. And even if we feel a little rushed in doing it, even if we have to skimp on some development that would have really helped us feel emotionally attached to this film, we got to hit the plot beats. And I agree with you. I thought the Scarecrow plot line was poorly handled. I thought...
well, especially in comparison to the one that I feel like they did handle well, which was the Tin Man.
Right.
So trying to keep spoilers away for people who haven't, aren't familiar with the material.
Yeah.
But and I guess the Lion actually falls kind of somewhat in between, because I think if you saw the first film, which I assume most people would if you go to see this, you kind of know where that's going, but still given a little bit of short shrift, but nowhere near what I felt like they did with the Scarecrow. So it's kind of like a grading scale. Tin Man gets an A, Lion gets maybe a C+, and then I feel like the Scarecrow gets a D, but whatever.
I do have to ask your take on, there is a scene, and I will just say it is after a infamous house.
Oh yeah,
is dropped.
Loved it. I already know what you're talking about. Yeah, Mortal Kombat, Glinda versus Elphaba Wen. That was I thought that was amazing. I thought that was the one, and I think they put it there essentially because this film is a lot darker, a lot dour, if that's a word. I know dour is. I don't know if dour is, but it's just, it's more morose. It's not a happy film, because all this bad stuff's happening. And they kind of have this face-off confrontation. I thought the way, I thought it was amusing. I thought it was funny. I can tell from your reaction, you did not like it.
No, I didn't like its placement in the film. I think, somebody just died, dude. 5 minutes earlier, a family member died violently. So I don't think that was a moment for let's have a lightsaber-looking duel between Glinda and Elphaba with jokes and funny poses. It didn't work. So it's just, I think, again, that was where tonally it just didn't make the film work. That was a critical point in this story where all of a sudden things got serious, like bad serious. Like there is a death. There is a family member that we got a relationship developed in the first film. And obviously once this happens, you know that the trajectory is now going in a different direction. And it's like, yeah, that was just man, you missed the boat there. That was like a moment where that should have been oh crap, this is like, now things have really gotten serious and bad. Yeah, I love the playfulness of the scene is great. Let's just do it at a different time. Let's have it at a different time in the film. Let's have it at a different point as opposed to right at a moment where we're supposed to feel like this is like the dramatic movement in the film where something so serious just happened that just amplified everything. And I just felt like it was poor timing on laying out a scene like that.
So I'll hear what you're saying. Don't think you're completely wrong, in my opinion. However, I will say the scene, I just stated, I like the scene.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Haven't talked about gratitude at all this month. Oops.
how the scene was handled, yeah, I guess, if you take in consideration everything you said, yeah, maybe they should have been dialed down or kind of left out. But I just thought it was an interesting way to communicate. Yeah, these two guys are at these two ladies are at each other's throats now.
If the scene had happened,
I liked the scene.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to change it, except for I could see dialing back some of the jokiness that's there.
Or do it 20 minutes earlier when they are truly at each other's throat. Things are like they are kind of at their lowest relationship-wise. And then you have this extremely dramatic thing happen that just, before that, you could just argue that they just got to the point where they're frustrated with each other. So yeah, let's have a funny little kind of a fight between them. Great. Again, I don't have an issue with the scene itself. It's the sequencing of where they decide to put it story-wise that just changes what should be the way you're moving the audience towards the emotions you're pushing for. It just kind of scrambled it all over, and I just don't think the timing of it was appropriate. So yeah.
I'm curious. I assume I know what your answer will be or your feelings are, but costumes, production design, and then I thought they were as good as the first film.
Good. No, it looked good, just as good. I mean, if it's very clear, this film, I think they made this like all at the same time, right? I mean, it wasn't like
I think you're correct.
And that's great. I love it when they do that because it does add so much consistency between the two films that you feel like you're still in the same world, same look, everything's great.
And I feel like I recall from the first film, a lot of people were at that time when people would not like the film, they also lambasted it for like the CGI and were just like complaining about it. First film didn't bother me. No, this film didn't bother me. So I still thought that was good.
There was a scene, I really liked the opening scene of this film.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it was kind of clever and cool the way it was played out. It's the Wicked Witch of the West kind of, quote, terrorizing a
building of the yellow brick road.
Of the yellow brick road, which again, I thought that whole sequence was really cool. Actually, the movie had me in that first sequence. I'm like, okay, I get where we're going with this, and this is good. I like the style that they're going for. I wish they had kept up that tone. But anyway, but it was really good. The CGI, I remember being a little dodgy in that opening sequence, but I was okay with it. It was a little cartoonish in some places with her attacking with the broom and doing some things that she was doing. But it didn't bother me because I actually thought it worked for the film. Everything worked. Looks of the film. I had no issues there whatsoever. Yeah.
I'll say, I want to mention as well, they have 2 new songs. Mm-hmm. So they did add new songs for this film.
Okay.
And with the last film, a lot of people who aren't familiar with how the inside baseball of Hollywood and Oscars and everything, they were like, oh, why were any songs for Wicked not nominated? Well, as you know, I think we discussed on that episode, they have to be written for the film. So all those other songs were already in the Broadway musical, so those don't count. So for this film, they wrote 2 new songs. It was No Place Like Home, which is sung by Elphaba, and then they wrote The Girl in the Bubble, which is sung by Glinda.
Okay, The Girl in the Bubble was a new song. Okay,
yeah, and so No Place Like Home, that one was one where she was in the forest with the animals singing No Place Like Home, just to kind of give you a little reference point. I thought the 2 new songs were fine. I would give the edge towards No Place Like Home, just because I like the echo of the line from Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz. And also I think maybe The Girl in the Bubble is a little bit too pat or too like for what they were trying to communicate in that moment. It didn't really have anything special for me. Whereas No Place Like Home, I guess, I don't know, it worked better. And if I were to choose between the two, if they're going to only try to push one for Oscar season, I'm going to say it's going to be No Place Like Home. But who knows? We'll see. Yeah. But so I guess you didn't remember No Place Like Home, but you thought
no, I did.
Oh, you did. Okay.
I remember the songs. I was going to ask which two. I just didn't know which two were new written for the film or not. I'm going to comment a little bit on performances because in the first film, even though I was a little middling on the film itself, I did really appreciate Cynthia Erivo as Elphaba. Really liked her performance in the first film.
Okay.
I think she's just as good in this one. I liked her a lot. Ariana Grande, I thought was fine in the first film. Maybe a little less or so for me in this film. I don't know. The performances just didn't quite match up, although I think Erivo was still just as good. But she's also got the part that really you can really dig into. It's just it's a good part to work with. So,
yeah, she's she, I guess, co-lead for Grande with Glinda. But Elphaba, Cynthia Erivo, she's the main deal.
Yeah. So, I thought overall performances were good and fine and kind of matched the first film. Maybe a notch or so lower. I guess what I'm saying is I don't think this film, Chris, I could be wrong. I don't think this film is going to get any nominations for acting like it did the first one. Because I think both Erivo and Grande were nominated.
I believe you're right.
For the first one. I don't think that's going to happen this time, just because I think there should have been more moments of acting. And I just don't feel like it quite reached a level that it needed to. So anyway, we'll see.
Yeah, hard to say when things are sequel. Like basically, they're playing the same characters and they did in the first. And if you like the first film better, then you'd be like, well, yeah, So yeah, I don't know how it will fare as far as acting stuff. I will say, I just kind of wrap things up, and I asked you the question, but haven't responded to it myself, which I guess people could probably guess how I would go, but. Wicked is based on, originally we've talked about, a book by Gregory Maguire. He's written several. And of course, after this opening weekend, there's already talk, will there be a Wicked 3? I think I would like to see another film. However, I would like for them to pull a opposite Joker in that the third and any other films in this franchise are acted and there's no music. I mean,
no musical.
Soundtrack music, but not bother doing a musical, because I am still interested in how they would, and the reason I say that, if there weren't books to support it, then I'd be like, no, they did the play, it's done. But because there is a series, and it was like there's books there, the source material is already there. So I would be interested to see where things go from here. So I would be but I'd prefer for them not to have to struggle and try to shoehorn a bunch of music into it and just let it be just strict. Now, do I think they'll do that? No, but you never know. So
no, I look, I think you were right in saying that the story that this is all based on is interesting and fascinating. And yes, I found myself the actual story at the root of this movie, I was generally interested in. And I think the concept is really great. It's all about how you put it on film. And that's where I think this film failed, putting it on film, but I'm not faulting the source material. I think the source material is strong. And if you told me that there's more stories to tell in this universe, then I'm all for it. Yeah, let's hear those stories. I just want to make sure it's put on screen in a way that, services that story as well as possible. I don't feel like this particular film did. So, yeah.
I mean, it's a lot.
Yeah.
Which I guess on one hand, like I say, it impresses me, but I will say it's a lot. So they don't do themselves any favors by the pacing, and I guess like what you were saying, they don't give you any type of, and there again, because I've seen the play, like the first film ends, and although this does pick up, there is a little bit of a time gap because one person's is now like, I believe the mayor or something. Like, things have happened. So there is a little bit of a time shift, and they, glancingly kind of address it. But yeah, it's like, to follow along with all the mechanics. If you haven't seen the original musical, then they are expecting you to do some heavy lifting. So
agreed. And I'm not going to bore the audience with any of my rants on actions or decisions made within the film. That I do not think are source material related. I think it is how they were presented in the film.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that because it's just me ranting, and I don't want to do that on a Monday morning here in front of this microphone. I'll save that for whoever wants to indulge me later on.
So I will probably, let me just touch on one rant since I'm overall obviously a little higher on the film than you, and I did say some misgivings. I'll say a quick misgiving to kind of touch on one. I'm curious if it's also one that you, the parentage of Elphaba. I remember, I thought we all kind of knew, all audience members knew, as well as one of the parents of Elphaba knew that was his kid. Yeah. And there's actually a musical number in the first film that involves these people. And there's like, and it's like he's winking the whole time, kind of like making references. And then in this film, all of a sudden it's like, oh, wait, what? And I was like, no, that doesn't make, and there again, I would think it would be just me, but my wife, who saw the musical with me and obviously saw part 1 and now has seen part 2, walking out of the theater, she's the same way. She's like, no, wait, why was he surprised by that? I'm like, I don't know. So I would agree in that instant. I think it's an example of a little bit of muddy screenwriting and
Well, there were just, I can rattle off probably 3 or 4 moments where I just feel like,
oh, come on, indulge me. Do it real quick. Come on.
Okay, I'm just trying
I like the film, so we're not just both like, we're not trashing it. I like the film. You are less than enthusiastic, but I just want to see if I want to see if I can.
Well, I'm trying to make sure I can specify exactly the moments and be very clear about it. It's just
without spoiling things,
right? Okay. Yeah, there's that too. Because there's although I like the scene and how the story is told with regards to the Tin Man, the sequence itself left me very muddled with how people were handling that situation. It's notably Elphaba and her sister. It's like, there's some real I don't understand like why she did this and then the other person did this. It's like, and again, all I'm doing is spoiling it if I give it away. But it's just the whole time they not sequence, I'm like, I like what they're pulling off here, but I do not like the mechanics of how this happened because it just didn't make sense to me.
And the nerd in me was just happy that I got to see.
Right. You got to see.
I got to see that.
There's a sequence where Elphaba goes to visit the wizard after meeting with Glinda, and there's a possibility of there being some reconciliation or something, which, again, I do not understand the mechanics of where anybody was coming from in that either, because at that point, I was still just trying to understand what it is the beef between them was. So, like, how can you have a reconciliation
You're trying to remember,
if I don't know the beef between them? And then it's like, no, they're going to reconcile, but then one little thing is revealed to Elphaba, and then it was just actions based. I didn't understand reactions and actions that people were taking in those sequences. I understood what the writers were trying to get to the next step, and this has to happen to cause this mechanic to happen in the film. But it's like the way it was all done felt very haphazard and kind of chaotic in the way it was done.
It worked for me, but there again, I did have the cheat of I revisited Wicked before seeing this film.
Yeah.
And I also appreciated, I think there again, like, it may have been a little clunky, but it was smoothed over for me because there was, during those moments you're talking about, there was a juxtaposition of shots with a wedding going on and Elphaba discovering a secret. Yeah. And they did some match like cutting where it was like, I liked all that. And so that made me kind of forgive some of maybe the mechanics of getting to these spots because I appreciate the filmmaking. But I hear what you're saying.
And then too, okay, not spoil. I can't spoil. The final deception in the last scenes of the movie.
Yes.
I needed someone to help me. I need more explanation of why.
I get you. And there again.
Yeah, why?
And I understand. And having seen there again, but you got to compare it to the musical because having seen the musical,
right?
I don't think it's handled as well as it was in the musical. In the musical, it totally made sense, and everything was everything's awesome, to borrow a line from the Lego Movie. But yeah, I can see why you're a little, and I was thought that kind of tripped. That didn't nail the landing as well. I hear what you're saying. I
question myself. Hold on, why? Why is this happening the way it's happening? I don't understand the reason for it.
I see that.
However, I will say, because I'm going to call out really good moments when they're happening.
Okay.
There is a shot right after the final discussion between Elphaba and Glinda.
Okay.
And they are separated by a door.
Yes.
It was a beautiful shot. I mean, really, it was a beautiful moment. I'm like, okay, this film needed more of that. It's like that moment where they have just separated, they have just made decisions that now there's a chance they may never see each other again.
Right.
And they get behind, one's behind a door, one's outside the door, and you see them both reacting to what's just happened, separated by this door. And it was a beautiful shot, beautifully acted by both people. And it's like, yeah, that's what the rest of this film needed, is some of those more moments to help me understand the relationships that were supposed to really matter here in the film. And that shot for me did it, but or helped a little bit with that. So anyway, yeah, there's a couple more spots, but I think you get my gist. It's just some mechanics of why did we do this?
Sure.
Why did this person do this? And I know there's probably an underlying reason, and maybe in the stage play or the novel, it explained a little bit more. There was more justification. But again, me looking at it just as a film, having seen one a year ago, and now with seeing this, I did not understand why certain actions were being taken, other than, well, that's because it's in the book. We have to do it. That seemed to be the reason.
Or that it was in the musical, and therefore that.
Yeah.
So, okay. I will close out my thoughts by saying it sounds like my biggest strength of these two films is your biggest weakness. And I can see why. And I will say that maybe they would have been, me giving advice to movies that have made tons of money. But critically, to be better critically, it sounds like maybe they would have done better to just not include stuff from the book and do the musical. Basically translate it, keep it, but not try to add stuff, because in adding stuff in, first film it worked for me. This film, it got a little muddy. And from what I'm hearing from you, it's like, no, it was muddy. And I think it would have made more sense if they would have left some of that stuff out.
Possibly. I think there's a couple plot lines that they could have left out and simplified this movie a little bit and given more time. And therefore it wouldn't have been so confused. A little bit of that, and also just give more time for the other more important plot lines to breathe and have some time to build back up that emotional connection with the audience. I feel like we kind of discarded this film.
Yeah, and so it sounds like that. Yeah. There again, giving advice to movies that are going to do well anyway.
Yeah.
But, okay.
Well, okay. I think we have exhausted our conversation on Wicked for good.
Okay.
Overall, yes, I was disappointed in it.
Sure.
Although I will give it credit for, I think, production design and the look and the style of the film is still really sharp and great. Performances I thought were still good, but I just felt like it was a little bit of sequelitis and a little bit of part two of a story where all the good stuff's in part one, other than a few key plot machinations that have to happen in part two. It's like that seemed like what it was. We have a really good part one with a lot to do, a lot of interesting characters to meet, a lot of great relationships to build up. And then plot two, it's just plot point, and that's it. Sure. And that's how I felt like this film was. So anyway, but you were higher on it.
Yeah.
But you also are coming to it from a different perspective
than
I was as well. So I think we're okay. Good enough. Wicked for Good, for Good, is playing in theaters. It's going to be in theaters for a little while. And look, if you like the first one, you definitely should go see the second one.
Right.
And But I think if you were not a fan of the first one, I don't think there's
bother.
anything out of this one you're going to get.
And I will say too, if you are a fan of the first one, I don't think you probably already own this on DVD or you just streamed it yesterday. Good. And if you haven't, you might consider rewatching it before you go, just because, like as Alan mentioned,
Just for a note, you shouldn't have to.
you shouldn't have to.
This should not be a requirement, but it is in this particular film. Yes, it is a bonus. I think
You will
to
probably
get that
enjoy
watched.
it more if you do.
Yeah, I agree.
think because
I
you
agree.
won't be frustrated, and I understand why you were. I mean, I
Halfway
get
through
that.
this film, I'm kind of wishing myself like, I probably should have seen the first
But you
one
shouldn't
again.
be. You're right. You
have
shouldn't be
to.
required to.
But
Right.
I wish I had just so I could enjoy
Sure.
it more. So
I
all
got
right.
you.
Okay, let's take a quick break, Chris, and we come back. We've got some trailers to watch. I've got a few to lay out for you, and we're going to give our takes on these trailers for films coming out soon, and then also your recommendation of a film we check out over the holiday season. So stay tuned. You're all listening to Foot Candle Films. We'll be right back in just a moment.
Want to discover great podcasts or maybe even start one of your own? Welcome to The Mesh, Western North Carolina's podcast network built for creators and listeners alike. From local sports and business to comedy and culture, The Mesh is home to unique voices and fresh perspectives. Do you have something you want to say? The Mesh can help you bring your podcast to life with the tools, support, and platform you need to be heard. Check us out at themesh.tv, where great podcasts live and new ones are born.
Welcome back to Foot Candle Films here on the Mesh.tv podcast network. We had our spirited discussion of Wicked for Good. Once again, probably our best part of conversations are on the cutting room floor and between the breaks, but that's fine. We'll catch us up sometime if you ever see us out and about and you want to talk Wicked for Good with us.
And then we don't
I
have
think
to
we're
worry
both
about
eager
spoilers.
to talk about it. That's
So,
right. Yeah,
yeah.
we don't have to worry about the spoiler side of it. Okay, Chris, let's move on to some trailers for some upcoming films that I want to have us take a look at. We're always kind of scouring the internet. We have a love-hate relationship with trailers. It's like, we don't like the trailers that show us too much. We don't like the trailers that basically tell the whole movie. However, trailers sometimes play a good purpose in that they give us a sense of what the film is going to be like and whether it should be on our radar. or not.
We just want all trailers passed through us, and we can say, yes, you may show this and not ruin audiences' enjoyment of film, or no, you need to cut that. So
We have time
just,
for that.
We just need all trailers passed through us. That's all.
We have time in our lives.
Sure.
Yeah, just we need to be the screening process for
Add
all
that to our
trailers.
to-do list. Yeah.
So we'll see if any of these trailers I'm going to show you are ones that violate that rule. Do they give us too much information? Do they spell out the entire film for us? Or do they do what a trailer should do, which is set the mood, set the tone, give us the basics, but leave a lot to the imagination?
So I'm going to propose, before we watch the first one, that we will rate it either a thumbs up, to give credit to Roger Ebert and Gene Siskel used to do the thumbs up, thumbs down.
Yep.
But instead of a thumbs down, we give it the wagging finger, which means like, no.
That was-
Shame.
that was shameful trailer.
So those are
Okay.
yeah.
All right, we can do that. Yeah. Does this pique interest without
Yes.
giving anything away, or does it spill out too much and make us wag the
Cranky.
finger? Okay, here we go. Let's go into our first one. This first trailer is called Crime 101. Set against the sun-bleached grit of Los Angeles, Crime 101 weaves the tale of an elusive jewel thief played by Chris Hemsworth, whose string of heights along the 101 freeway have mystified police. When he identifies a score of a lifetime, his paths cross with a disillusioned insurance broker played by Halle Berry, who's facing her own crossroads. Also in this movie, we have Mark Ruffalo. We also have Nick Nolte. We have Barry Kagan. We have Monica Barbaro, Corey Hawkins, Tate Donovan. It's a pretty good cast. So that was the first thing that kind of drew me to this. Bart Layton is the director, which I admit I'm not familiar with Bart Layton.
Oh, yes,
am
you
I?
are.
Am I?
Yes.
What did
Well,
Bart
well,
Layton do?
Okay, I'll go
Oh,
ahead
you
and
want
say-
to tell me after the trailer?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. We'll tell you after the trailer. Let's watch the trailer for Crime 101, and here we go, and we'll talk about it on the backside.
Mike,
Sharon. So what are we driving?
if you can guess, I'll give you the keys to it.
Ooh, Chevy Chevette, racing green.
Right color.
That is a beautiful car. I need to be in your line of work. I'm real good at reading people.
And what have you read about me?
Okay. You look like a person who has secrets. You got the cars, the clothes, but you can't seem to look me in the eye.
Start by handing me your phone.
You're looking at robberies of jewels, money, or high-value items in the last 4 years. Now, remove every robbery where there was DNA left at the scene. I think all of these are the same guy, and he hits every time along the 101 freeway.
All right. That is the trailer for Crime 101 coming out February 13th. So, Chris, Bart Layton, the director, where do we know him from?
Okay, hold on. Before,
Yeah.
thumbs up or wagging finger?
It's a mix. Thumbs up because I'm generally interested in this film and I like what I'm seeing. I am wagging the finger because the trailer is too long and gave away too many details.
I am 100% on the exact same page.
Okay.
Yeah, I still want to see the movies. That's why it gets the thumbs up. But wagging finger because, I feel like they just went, just gave away a little bit too many details.
Too much.
I mentioned that I'd heard of this film. I definitely have heard of the director. You have too. Bart Layton directed The Imposter, which I've recommended on the show, but the one you're definitely going to know, we've shown at our film festival, is American Animals.
Oh.
So Bart Layton,
which I love.
and The Imposter
American
was,
Animals.
it's kind of it is a documentary, so it's not a narrative, but it has recreations in it. So it was about a person who impostered being somebody's child that had disappeared and shows up as a grown man and won't go, fascinating film just about how someone's mind works and the con they pull off. American Animals, love the film. You already know that. So with this, that's what got me excited about this because it's his next film. So I wish the trailer didn't give away as much. So wagging finger, but still thumbs up. Still really looking forward to it.
I'm very excited for this film.
Yeah.
Okay, that would explain the Barry Kagan connection a little bit in there too.
And I believe, like his two other films that I'm aware of, I believe it is based on something that did happen.
Okay.
So this isn't just a fiction film.
Sure.
This is based on some true events, which just seems like the kind of stuff he's interested in. So yeah.
Okay, no, I'm more excited for this film now. I did not realize the connection.
Sure.
With Bart Layton.
Yeah.
Great. And I think the cast looks great.
Yeah.
I just again, I hope there's still story to tell in this that's not capsulated in the trailer. So,
Sure.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Okay, that's February 13th, Crime 101. All right. Chris, next we're going to a film. This film is called Send Help.
Okay.
And I don't know, you said that when I mentioned the name of the film to you, you said it sounded, maybe you knew what it was.
Vaguely familiar, yeah.
If you have been in the lobby of our theater next door, you would be seeing the movie poster for this. 'Cause it's been up for the last week or so.
All right.
It is Rachel McAdams and Dylan O'Brien playing Linda Little and Bradley Preston, two colleagues who find themselves stranded on a desert island after they are the only survivors of a plane crash. On the island, they must overcome past grievances and work together to survive, but ultimately it becomes an unsettling and darkly humorous battle of wills and wits to make it out alive. Here's the thing, directed by Sam Raimi.
Okay.
Okay. So that's why I'm personally really interested in this film, excited to see it. I have not seen the trailer yet. I've only seen, like I said, the movie poster. hanging.
Okay.
And I know the people involved in the film, but I have not seen any footage from the film. So we're going to watch this trailer and see if my hopes and expectations match up or not. Let's take a look and see.
I'm going to be frank with you. You are smart. I know that you are great with numbers, but I just don't think you got it. As an executive, I see no value in you. Does that make sense?
I'm sorry, what?
You know we have the Bangkok merger coming up. Prove me wrong. Oh, Linda, before you go, I forgot to mention I've received a few complaints about you.
Complaints?
Noxious odors.
Oh, God.
All right. That is Send Help coming January 30th. All right. So we're doing our rating on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go first.
Yeah, I'll go first. Thumbs up, but also wagging finger. I'm going to guess that we're probably almost always going to give a wagging finger.
Probably
the
so.
difference will be, do we give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down?
Right. So always a wagging finger.
Right, pretty much, because I feel
Pretty
like
much
almost
always.
all trailers.
I think this one's a little less wagging finger than Crime 101 is, because at least, I mean, yeah, it set up the whole premise of the film, but I do feel like I don't quite 100% know where the film's going.
So a half wagging finger.
Half wagging.
Okay.
But you're a thumbs up on it?
Oh, yeah.
I'm
Definitely
super
interested in seeing it.
super interested in this film. I love it. It's looks like a Castaway meets Misery kind of thing. You
Yeah.
know, which
That could have been the pitch for the film. Yeah.
Yep. That's good. So no, send help. This is again Sam Raimi, director of The Evil Dead and many, many other movies, but kind of that's the one that put him on the map, decades ago. And he's got a flair for more the horror, but also horror with humor and absurdity mixed in. Maybe this is going to go in that direction. I don't know. We'll see. But Send Help is coming January 30th to movie theaters.
All right.
So, all right. Last one I'm going to show for us, Chris. I'm trying to decide which one to do.
Okay.
No, let's watch this one. This is a teaser.
Okay.
So it's only... it's only a minute long.
So it probably won't get the wagging finger.
Probably not.
Okay.
But this is one I'm very interested in. This film is called The Testament of Ann Lee. From award-winning writer and director Mona Fastvold. Now, do you know Mona Fastvold?
Don't think so.
So technically, Mona Fastvold is... she was not the director of The Brutalist, because we know who the director was, but she was the partner of... the director of The Brutalist. So she co-wrote that film and I think was heavily involved in the making of that film.
Okay.
She also did the film The World to Come, which I'm not as familiar with. But this film, Mona Fastvold directing and writing the film, comes from the extraordinary true legend of Ann Lee, founder of the devotional sect known as the Shakers.
Okay. Yeah, I've
It's
heard the title. Yeah.
Amanda Seyfried. We talked about it as a news item months ago when it was kind of underway. But this is a teaser for it. It's Amanda Seyfried stars as the Shakers' irrepressible leader who preached gender and social equality and was revered by her followers. So with that, let's watch the teaser for The Testament of Ann Lee. This is coming out, it says 2025. I mean, it could be like end of the year, kind of coming out for Oscar consideration.
Sure.
Here we go. This is The Testament of Ann Lee, a teaser for it.
All of us have suffered on our journey. We have made tremendous sacrifices to receive the greatest love that one can experience.
Legend has it, this is what happened to Ann Lee.
All right. So that is the teaser trailer for The Testament of Ann Lee. Chris?
So, no wagging finger.
I think all trailers should just be like this. Like, there should never be a trailer that goes through plot details and all the machinations of the plot, like the previous two we showed.
Okay.
This should be the kind of this should be all trailers.
Agreed. Okay. If we had our way, this
would be it.
So thumbs up and no wagging finger. So this is my only question is how did dude, I'm blanking on his name. It's actually two different directors. So it would be a combination. How did Robert Eggers, who did The Witch, or I'm blanking on his name, who did Midsommar? I can't remember. And he did Eddington. Ari Aster.
Ari Aster.
So how did Ari Aster or Robert Eggers not make this film? That's my question. Because that's now, granted,
maybe we'll be adding Mona Fastvold to the conversation on that going forward.
When you read the description, I'm like, meh. But then once that trailer looks like something that Ari Aster would be interested in doing, or Robert Eggers because it gives a very horror vibe kind of, and the spooky music and the cutting. So yeah, bravo. I'm interested in seeing it.
Yeah, I am very interested. No wagging finger. Everything's good on this. I wish we had a more firm release date, but I think it's probably playing in limited release in some places right now. So hopefully we'll have a chance here in the next couple months. It's put out by Searchlight, Fox Searchlight Pictures, and so hopefully we'll have a
I think it's definitely from the trailer. They did show like a bunch of quotes and star ratings of it. I'm thinking it's probably definitely made festival rounds, and that's why. But I guess they're trying to decide whether or not they want to have a late release this year and put it up for Oscars, or want to wait and kind of release it next year.
And it's also in this film is Lewis Pullman, who's been very busy. That's Bill Pullman's son.
Got you.
He was in Thunderbolts, and there was another film he was in that I think we talked about recently. Thomasin McKenzie. Haven't seen her since Last Night in Soho that I can recall. So yeah, I think it's. I'm very excited. I'm hoping it's good and looking forward to seeing it soon. Okay, well that's all the trailers I had for us today, Chris. So with that, I think we're at the final stretches of the show, and this is where we do our recommendation that you have to share with us. Chris, what film are you going to recommend as people are building up our watch queue for the holiday season? We have more time to watch movies. What do you recommend people might want to check out?
So I'm going to recommend a recent release on Netflix. I think it did have a maybe short theatrical run. It's definitely done festivals, but it is Train Dreams by Clint Bentley, and he is one of the writers of Sing Sing that came out, the film that was acclaimed. Well, this is a film that he directed. It stars Joel Edgerton, Felicity Jones, Carrie Condon, William H. Macy. The story is a logger leads a life of quiet grace as he experiences love and loss during an era of monumental change in early 20th century America. So I just recently watched the film, and I can see why like a wide release in theaters probably wouldn't work that well, because this is a very languidly paced film, very like Terrence Malick type film, kind of like Days of Heaven, if you've seen that film of Terrence Malick. So the acting is very subtle but good. The cinematography is breathtaking. And it's being kind of sad, but it's very simplistic story, but still kind of profound in many ways. Kind of like, Tree of Life in some senses by Malick was simplistic, but yet it makes these kind of grand statements about like, what does it mean to be human? Why are we here type thing? And that's guy leads a simple life, but yet, I don't know, it's just kind of universal in some ways. So, and the final image of the film is beautiful, yet really sad, and deserves a place on the museum wall. So hopefully that's enough to get you interested in seeing it. It's widely available on Netflix. That's Train Dreams. So.
Okay, great. I have heard some good things about this film, so I'm happy to hear your recommendation of it as well. So that will be added to the queue, and it will probably, unfortunately, sit there for a long time. But
there's a lot going on towards the end of the year. I get it.
There is. Yeah, there is. All right, Chris. Well, that will do it for today. So thanks for the recommendation. Wicked for Good. We gave the review in the first half of the show. Showed trailers for Send Help, The Testament of Ann Lee, and Crime 101, all coming out over the next few months. And all three trailers look good. Just we did have to wag our finger at a couple of them for being a little too long and giving away too many details of the film. But Chris, if anybody has any thoughts or feedback for us on anything we talked about, how can they do that and get a hold of us?
You can send an email to info@footcandle.org. You can leave us a voicemail via the contact page on the Mesh.tv website. You can follow us on Facebook at Foot Candle Film Society, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, Twitter. We're at Foot Candle Film. Al and I are also on Letterboxd, where we attempt to try to track what we're seeing, leave quick takes. Do us a favor. If you enjoy the show, consider giving us a star rating, write a review, share with friends, whatever service you receive your favorite podcast on, because it'll help us reach new listeners, and we would appreciate that. And just so you can go ahead and get it on your calendars if you want, the 2026 Foot Candle Film Festival will be happening in September 18th through the 27th in 2026. So it's early yet, but, we mention it every now and then. But we've already started getting submissions in for that festival. So put your date on the calendar now and maybe join us.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks, everybody, for listening, and we'll look forward to talking to everybody next time we get together to record. Take care. Thanks.
See you in the ticket line.
Watch films in the company of like-minded people in the dark. Watch films in the underground. We won't let anyone know where you are. The films that don't make it to Carmike at the mall, or ones that were famous when Grandpa would watch films out of the reverence of the heritage of an art. Watch films through the courtesy of Foot Candle Film Society.
Special thanks to Carpal Tuller for the show theme music. For more about Carpal Tuller, visit www.carpaltuller.com. You've been listening to The Mesh, an online media network of shows and programs ranging from business to arts, sports to entertainment, music to community. All programs are available on the website as well as through iTunes and YouTube. Check us out online at themesh.tv. Discover other network shows and give us feedback on what you just heard.